Dark Souls 3, the third and final game of the Dark Souls franchise. As long as they don't make another one, I guess, which is still up in the air. Either way, it's probably the best of the Dark Souls games. It's harder and easier in a lot of ways, I'd say, than Dark Souls 1 and 2. For easier, there's so many bonfires, like an almost comical amount. It's also the most streamlined of the game. In terms of directions you have to go, there's really one main route that it sets you on, and paths rarely split off. And if they do, it's not for long, or they loop back pretty much right away. It's also the most streamlined game in terms of equipment, and when it comes to equipment and upgrading stuff, it's super simple, and they throw upgrade materials at you like it's nobody's business. Things like armor and poise matter a lot less now. It's now, you just put on what you like wearing, what you like, when you like how your character looks like, and that's probably good enough, unless you want some specific resists like fire or lightning or, I don't know, poison. It's harder than Dark Souls 1 and 2 when it comes to enemies. The combat is faster for one, and circle strafing around enemies doesn't work as well anymore, since most enemies will crack you with a huge swing, depleting most of your stamina if you block it. So there is a heavier emphasis on having to dodge, roll, and learn enemy patterns. I still think it's not as hard as people like to cry. You just gotta, learn patterns. And if you die, you just restart it, and you do it again, and it's always fine. I don't know why people think just because you die it makes the game incredibly hard. It's just like a state of being. When you have infinite response, it doesn't incredibly matter if you die. Anyway, so it's Dark Souls 3. Definitely the most consistent of the Souls trilogy. It never reaches the heights of level design Dark Souls 1 hits, but also never fails as hard as Dark Souls 1 does in any category. Like Lost Izalith, that's just a fail area. Dark Souls 3 doesn't have really any of those. It's probably an 8 or 9 on 10. Souls games have zero replay value if you ask me, unless you're really into PvP or trying out a magic build. But if you think Miyazaki's the lord of perfection, as if an undead angel fell from the sky and landed on his dick mouth first, granting him eternal enlightenment as he splooged, it's probably a 10 on 10. Would recommend.